Doc, am I right that the ambassador of Bulgaria probably, before joining this show, told you that he is full of appreciation for Field Marshal Asim Munir. Is it so, or is it more to it?
Shukriya for your question. And being and enjoying the opportunity being among such a gentleman who has given me an opportunity to speak first, I would like to confirm your words and the information that the appreciation of the actions and diplomatic efforts of Chief Field Marshal Asim Munir of Pakistan has been supported tremendously. And I can actually register that attitude and high appraisal in the diplomatic circles, not only in Moscow. I can say, and I can confirm that this diplomatic support actually spread even from the side of the European Union and Western countries, which is really an important signal. We can take it as a positive pretext because all those kind of diplomatic talks, can be marked as an element of so-called public diplomacy or informal diplomacy. It means that there is a positive atmosphere, a positive spirit, which is actually inclined to support a special privileged position of Pakistan at this very crucial moment. And I think that General Asim Munir being in Tehran this very moment, is definitely will do his best. And he will keep a hold, he will keep a tight grip and not let that kind of US-Israeli, Iranian not fall apart. Because Pakistan has invested tremendous efforts in order to not just prolong this ceasefire, but to use this momentum for converting it from the indefinite vacuum of power and chaos, strategic chaos, into something definite. So to materialize an important phase of reaching memorandum of understanding, at least some kind of form of agreement or the format that will allow all the parties to proceed forward. The second important element, what has been actually coined by President of China, Xi, about the trap of Thucydides. This is what actually Pakistan is doing. Pakistan is guiding all the parties very carefully, and I must say very honestly, out of this trap, not to bring more confusion, more complexity and instability, because Pakistan is confirming its position, its rule, not only for the region of South Asia and the Middle East, but for the global stage. This is really good signals.
So one more thing I would like you to add over here before I go to the other participants. Do you think that this MOU, which is likely to be signed between Iran and America in another few hours' time, do you agree with my analysis that it's going to happen in another few hours' time, or you have something else on your mind?
Of course, there can be many opinions and many views, but the real politic agenda of nowadays demands to make this memorandum of understanding as a predicament to the first step. Actually, we are all doomed to sign it up and to give the victorious gratitude to Pakistan for sealing it up. Because no matter what kind of tragedy of lack of strategic mind or presence of strategic mind this or another party can actually experience, what is really countable and important today, to have a strategic leadership. And it doesn't matter, either you are a superpower or a middle power. Pakistan has approved its position being a middle power, and exercising very strong strategic leadership. It's possible actually to start writing your own agenda and to play more significant role in different geometry of geopolitics. As I preview actually Pakistan is drawing the first outlines of two types geometric structures. The first one is triangle, Pakistan, United States, and Russia, because we should not forget the role of Russia here as well, and quadrangle, as I pointed out, where United States, Pakistan, China, and Iran are playing significant roles. So I think we are going to observe quite an interesting constellation of the geopolitical forces pretty soon. But all that will happen only after the first formal framework will be put on the discussion table, I mean memorandum of understanding.
Doc, Putin visited China. This is a different thing which I'm coming up with. Putin visited China, and definitely I think that this issue might have been discussed. The Iran-America conflict issue might have been discussed by Putin with President Xi. Is it so? And if it was discussed, what was the understanding between the two leaders?
First of all, I think that it's important to describe that meeting between Russian President Putin and Chinese President Xi from the point of view of the diversity of strategic mindset of all the parties, because we have been witnessing a whole gallery of visits to Beijing recently. So May has become quite an active diplomatic month. First, it was Trump for the visit of American president, 13th, 15th of May, then the visit of the Russian president. And a lot of observers have been drawing a line between these meetings, and probably they were right. The difference in the strategic mindset may look like American side, considering its behavior over Iran, is expressing a strategic rashness. So United States and Donald Trump wants a very rapid result and outcome. You know, it's concerning China, it's concerning Russia-Ukraine conflict, and it's concerning Iran and all other matters, starting from Venezuela, Cuba, and Ireland. So China traditionally is promoting strategic resilience and patience, and Russia is actually demonstrating a strategic endurance, considering its long-term policy of maintaining its geopolitical independence and sovereignty. Therefore, the meeting in Beijing between Russian president and Chinese president has been taking place in the context of so-called reshuffling or rethinking of the emerging global order. And the joint statement, quite a lengthy one, that has been declared as an outcome of this meeting, was presuming to put the new outlines, or let's say to confirm the mutual policy, the mutual understanding of how the future world should look like, how the geometry of the geopolitics should look like. So that's perhaps an important contextual outline of this meeting. Considering other elements of discussion, so both parties have accused the irresponsible behavior of the United States and its foreign policy in consideration to Iran. Both parties truly believe that that's the fault of the United States, which is all the time inventing different obstacles and hurdles on a way of making peace deal with Iran. Because actually it's not the point of Iran. China and Russia clearly understand that. The point is that to prevent an expanding of powerful acts of countries, and Iran is actually included in these acts of countries, which are willing to build a new world order, multipolar world order. And we can see that if China, with its strategic patience, and Russia with strategic endurance and self-esteem in regard to its national interest, is united with each other and confirming their unity, their consolidation, their strategic cooperation, it means that these two parties are demonstrating a very solid statement, a very solid ground that actually joining with the memorandum of understanding where Pakistan is actually stepping on the stage here and actually supplying a diplomatic outcome to this meeting in Beijing. All that creates a serious concern to the United States. That's why I previously mentioned that what has been happening in Beijing, and also considering the last event, the invitation from the Chinese side to the foreign minister of Iran to attend the session of the Security Council in United Nations in New York, all those elements mean that the meeting in Beijing between Russian president and Chinese president has been actually advocating the beginning, the consolidation of new forces that are willing to build undeniable, unseparable architecture of security on the big Eurasian space.
So if we take if we sum it up, are we looking for a new allies over here in this region, and in that alignment of like new diplomatic alignment which is going to happen in the days to come? China, Russia, and a few other countries are going to play a very vital role and can be said and can be. And we can say that they are coming up with the role of a security umbrella for this region. Is it possible, or am I like reading too much over here?
I think it's more than possible. The historical logics tells us to follow that path. And if the skeptical camp of people and observers consider that, for example, Pakistan and other countries like the countries of the Gulf region are not willing, including Turkey, are not willing to rush into new race of blocking camps and allies, etc., this is not true. Because there is a little space for maneuvering. Either you're going into this race of blocks, military blocks, which actually United States has coined and has fostered that process quite rapidly in the region of South Asia and the Middle East in general. And another option in this narrow space of maneuvering is to build new alignments, new access of countries that are willing to preserve peace, stability, cooperation, economic and strategic development. And Russia and China are just two milestones, two bricks at the very ground of this new emerging status quo. This is important to mention. This is status quo. This is just interlude, interregnum between the old cows, and it's nothing. Actually, it's not accidental when Donald Trump has been invited by Chinese President Xi to the Temple of Heaven, because it had a sacral, symbolic meaning to demonstrate to the United States that that's the meaning of the old order, the head of the old order, the leader, and the leader as a symbol of Chinese emperor of the new world order. This is a really important symbol to mark in your actual playbook and to understand that Russia and China is not just playing geopolitical games. They are demonstrating a very powerful symbolic narrative that the will of the heaven is meeting the will of earth. So geopolitics meets with a more symbolic and contextual narrative. And again, Pakistan is just playing the ground, actually preparing the ground for this new reality, which will be opposing the aggressive, impatient, strategic rashness from the side of the so-called declining empire as United States, as has been marked in Beijing.